we have discussed what is perfect competition, right? It is one of the four market structures that we'll talk about as part of our syllabus. In perfect competition, we discussed that there are a lot of firms and all the firms are price takers, which means that no single firm can influence the price. Then the firms are producing homogeneous products, right? Which means products are identical, right? Then what else? Another characteristic of perfect competition is that there are no barriers to entry and exit, which means any new firm can easily enter or leave the market, right? And then the last of all was that all consumers have complete information about the market, right? So on the left, on the right, I'm making the graph for the firm, and on the left, I'll be making the graph for the industry, right? So this is the same what we made yesterday. So P slash cost, price slash cost, right? I'm just writing it because, to save some time, but obviously on an exam, you will write the full form, right? And then on the y-axis, similarly for the industry, you have P slash C, which means price slash cost. And on the x-axis, you have the output, right? Easy, we're good on this? Okay. Now, the first thing that you need to know is that industry is collection of firms that produce the same product. Yes or no? We have talked about this. So for the market or the industry, you could have also written it market instead of industry. That's perfectly fine. No difference that would have made, right? Okay. Now the thing is, students, just give me a second, right? So the thing is that market price is determined through market forces of demand and supply, right? We know this. So if you see, downward sloping will be the demand. For the product, upward sloping will be the supply, right? Now, wherever the two are intersecting, that will be your equilibrium price, right? So market supply is upward sloping, market demand is downward sloping. I did tell you in detail what market supply is. Market supply comprises of all production undertaken by different firms, right? So if we talk about the market for wheat in Pakistan, then market supply will include the production of all the farmers who are growing wheat in Pakistan. Similarly, market demand for wheat in Pakistan would include the demand from all consumers, right? Like all people who consume wheat, right? Yes or no? Now, with the market demand and market supply are intersecting, let's assume it sets the price to be 100 rupees per kg, right? 100 rupees per kg. Now, what you need to do, you have to extend this line, right, to the second graph on the right, and then you'll draw a straight horizontal line like this, right? You'll draw straight horizontal line like this, right? Like this. I wanted to choose the other one, sorry, right? So you'll draw a straight horizontal demand curve like this. This is making sense, right? Okay. Now this is the demand curve for perfect competition, for one firm in perfect competition. So this straight horizontal line that I've made, this is the demand curve for one firm in perfect competition, right? This was the market demand, which is usual downward sloping curve. And this was the market supply. As I explained, that this is the supply of all the producers who are producing wheat in a country. And this is the demand from all the people who consume wheat in that country, given we are talking about wheat. This could be any other product as well, right? Now, the straight horizontal line that I've made, this shows you the price per unit, which is 100 rupees per kg. We have already discussed. And this is also your MR. What is MR? Marginal revenue. We discussed this yesterday and before that as well. Marginal revenue is change in revenue due to change in output. What is marginal revenue? How much will be the change in revenue due to production of one more unit of good, right? We good on this? Okay. Now, we also discussed that when price is constant, when price is not changing, your marginal revenue will also not change, right? If each additional unit of wheat is selling for 100 rupees per kg, then we do know that when you sell one additional unit of wheat, which is per kg, every time you sell one additional unit of wheat, you'll get 100 rupees on that. Yes or no? Is this simple? So that's why marginal revenue is also the same as the price. Easy. Can you move on, students? We good? Okay. Now this being said, just give me a second, right? Now, what are the two other curves or the graphs that we need to add to this, right? So if you remember, I said that we'll add the marginal cost graph, which is J-shaped graph like this. right? It will go like this, right? It's J-shaped graph. So this is your marginal cost, right? And then you have to include another cost curve, which is ATC. And what's the shape of the ATC? The shape of the ATC is U-shaped. ATC for any business is always U-shaped, right? And this green curve that I've drawn over here is your ATC. Then I also told you yesterday that the relationship between marginal cost and ATC. What will be the relationship between marginal cost and ATC, right? So marginal cost is U-shaped, as we just discussed. The relationship between marginal cost and ATC is that marginal cost will always pass from the lowest point of the ATC. Yes or no? Marginal cost will always pass from the lowest point of the ATC. It cannot pass from any other point, right? Always remember. So if I would have drawn a marginal cost like this is incorrect. Why is this incorrect? Because this is not the lowest point of ATC. This is the lowest point, right? Or perhaps somewhere over here, right? Are we getting this? But you got the point, right? So something like this, right? Sorry about that. Something like this. That's a better one, right? Easy. We good on this? Okay. Now students, think about this. How do we identify? Now, how will we analyze this diagram? Now you have to pay close attention, right? Now, where the marginal revenue for a firm, where the marginal revenue curve for a firm, where the marginal revenue curve for a firm is equal to its marginal cost, where the marginal revenue is equals to marginal cost, that is what? That is your profit maximization quantity. Do you agree with me, right? Now, where are the two curves intersecting? So this is your marginal cost, this purple, and this orange line is your marginal revenue. Where are the two intersecting? The two are intersecting at this point. So what will you do? You'll bring a dotted line down first to the x-axis and you label that quantity as QP. QP shows that this is profit maximization quantity. What quantity is this? Profit maximization. Then you will see where is this intersecting with the green line. Where is this intersecting with the green curve? Because this is your ATC. This is your ATC, right? Now you will connect it to the y-axis. You will connect it to the y-axis and then you will label it as ATC. Now you can see for yourself that ATC is lower than your price, which means that you're selling the good for 100 rupees as we discussed. And the price which it costs you to produce is something less than 100, right? So let's assume it's 80. You could have assumed anything, but let's assume it's 80, right? So you're selling each unit for 100. It's costing you 80 rupees to produce each unit. So how much profit do you make on each unit? How much profit do you make on each unit? 20? Yes or no? That should be simple. So profit per unit is basically your profit per unit is equal to your price per unit, right? Minus your ATC. Do you agree with me? Right? So this is the formula for per unit profit, right? And if you have to calculate the profit in total, then how do you calculate that? So total profit for a firm is revenue, total revenue. How much was received in cash from the sale of your goods minus your total cost, right? So let me write down the full thing, right? Your total cost. Easy. Any confusion so far, students? Okay. Now let's go back and let's see what can we see on the graph, whether the firm is making profit or loss, right? Now, if you're selling it for 100, costing you 80, right? So per unit profit is this much. So your per unit profit is 20 rupees. Yes or no? And how much quantity you're selling? If you are making a profit of 20 rupees per unit and you're selling a total quantity of, let's say 500, let's say 500. Are you following me? So what will be your total profit then? What would be your total profit then? 20 times, students, are you following me or not? So 20 times 500 would be how much? That gives you 110 and 10 and 3 zeros, 10,000. So the area of the shaded region, this rectangle basically, right, is your what? This shows you your total profit. Any confusion so far? Students, anything that's not clear, anything you want to ask me, right? Huda and Preet, is everything clear so far? Is making sense? Got it? Right? So your per unit profit was 20 and your total profit is basically the area of this, rectangle, right? The area of this rectangle. That is your total profit. We good? Confusion? Anything not clear? Anything you want to ask me? Can you move on? Right? Now comes in, yeah, Preet, do you have a question? Now comes in another very important topic that we need to discuss. Now, in economics, unlike accounting, the idea of profit is slightly different. Now, this is what a lot of students get confused with, and I'll take some time to explain you, right? So the idea of profit in economics is slightly different with market structures, right? And I'll tell you how is that different. So all, like, basically economists classify profit into types, into categories, or two types, whatever you want to call it, right? One is known as normal profit and the other one is known as abnormal profit, right? So one type of profit is defined as normal profit by economists and the other one is known as abnormal profit, and sometimes it is also defined as supernormal profit. Now, what is normal profit? When price is greater than, when price is greater than ATC, right? Sorry about that. When price is greater than ATC, right? That is normal, sorry. When price is equal to ATC, that is normal.